From the top.
Calm down, baby. Take a deep breath when it's
Okay, so we need to get costumes, backing tracks. Maybe we could do one where you pull out the aux.
Yeah, she just hates being the unpopular opinion.
Whitney, you have to know how stubborn she is. That's why we love her.
I really think we should just lay this one to rest. Art heals. We need this now more than ever.
Oh, I guess you never got off your high horse.
And I guess you never grew a spine.
That is the exact self-sabotage that we were talking about.
How did we used to do this?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Grow up. Grow up. Stop it. Stop.
We don't rock. We will rock. We will rock.
Oh my god, this is gonna be amazing!
Oh yeah. Good. Oh god, my god. It's gonna be really good.
Boom! There you go. That was the trailer for the Cosmos Sisters, available right now on all digital platforms on demand. Go see it. But before you do that, as you see on the screen, I have some special guests. I'm so delighted, so excited. The writers, directors, stars, Nora Kaye and Whitney Uland. Thank you both immensely for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're amped to be here.
I'm so excited for you both. As a filmmaker myself who dabbles in this hosting thing, the show love to my fellow filmmakers. I know how hard it is to get our projects out there. That's why I decided to do this during pandemic times, because I needed to keep busy. You know, we got to work and keep that, you know, creative vibes and energy flowing. So, you know, why not show love to my fellow filmmakers? So props to you both on getting this out here. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries. So this film, from what I understand, happened during pandemic times. If I could throw it back to either of you all to just tell me how this germ of an idea sprouted, and let's put pen to pad or fingers to keyboard and make this happen. Who wants to go first?
Go for it, Nor.
Okay. How did this happen? So Whitney and I had been collaborating. We had made a pilot. We were like hungry to do a feature. We had a feature. We had talent. We had a script. We had funding. And then we all know the pandemic hit and the stock market crashed and everyone pulled out. I mean, we had no idea what was going on. It took a little longer than 2 weeks. Remember when it was going to be a 2-week pandemic? And so we were kind of in this moment where we had put that project on ice, but we still were like so excited and wanted to tell a story. And Whitney and I were like, what if we like shoot something that we could shoot, you know? And we had these like stories about like grief and art making and friendship, and that we're still really excited about. And we had found some bobbed wigs that we were playing kind of like sketch characters on, and we were like, this is giving us joy in a time where it feels like it's very hard to find joy and to access that. And so we wrote a script and we shot it in my childhood home in Massachusetts, art directed by my parents, 28 years in the making. And yeah, it was just this like little bubble. We kept it very small because of COVID, because of safety. That was super important to us, but still getting to like make a movie and tell some stories and have some fun.
Wow, I love that. So is that kind of where we get that whole wig thing, when you're kind of like half baked on the brownies or something, and you're throwing on the blue purple wigs, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Whitney, tell me about, you know, as Nora, you know, led in with all of that, how, you know, that was fostering with your head and just that back and forth between the both of you.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think Nora totally hit it on the head. It's this was a, you know, just truly for us, I think, you know, everyone wants to know, like, are you really Whitney and Nora? Our characters are named Whitney and Nora, you know, and while there definitely are, the heartbeat of them comes from us, and I'm sure I have the best and the worst parts of both of the characters within me. But ultimately, yeah, I think the story is about grief and friendship, and finding the things that bring you joy in those and leaning into what is delusional at a lot of the time, right? And leaning into, I think with this movie, at every chance of the way, Nora explained this, but like the week that investors were handing us the checks were the weeks that was the week that the stock market crashed, right? And the week that everyone was sent into lockdown, and that just, I mean, we thought we were going to be shooting April 1st. We were in the middle of our crowdfunding campaign, and at that time, every single person, our agents, our lawyers, like our friends, our family, everyone was like, you don't need to keep making this, right? Like no one would have faulted us if we had just stopped. And I think that it's that our willingness to be delusional about it and say like, no, this is important to us. This is bringing us joy. We want to continue forward with it. That's the same, heartbeat that's in the story of these two women who are at home and grieving. There's a lot of similarities between the characters. I lost my dad in 2016, and in this story, Nora's character has lost her mom, and those moments of grief and I think grief was such a prevalent emotion during the pandemic, and just looking around at life and expectations and reflection, and just seeing all of the things that haven't maybe turned out the way that we wanted them to, and in those moments turning to our relationships and to our community, and also to those things that bring us joy, even if everyone thinks that they're crazy and delusional. And I think that that's what this story is about. So
dig that. That actually ties into what my next batch of questions were going to be, that you somewhat answered. It was like, what was the hardest part of filmmaking? I think obviously for us as filmmakers, getting the money, the financing, and especially going through it, right, with the stock market and all that. But then, so I think that somewhat explains that. But then what I would like to dive into a little bit more between the both of you, and you already kind of tapped into that, Whitney, is the difficulty in making this film and the script, reaching those emotions. Obviously, like you said, you lost your father, and my condolences. But like, what was that for you both? And as friends, I'm assuming, like you just said, everybody are you both like Whitney and Nora in real life, the scripts, how does that match? But for you as friends, diving into the characters and, exploring the dark side of things. This movie, I have to tell you both, is right on time because, we're in the holiday season. I was just talking to friends about how we both moved on. We come back home and some of our friends are still in the same places that they were when we left, and how difficult that feels, right? So let me toss it back over to you, Nora. So just the vibe and reaching those dark places with Whitney, and finding the way to put that in the script, or how difficult it was to put certain elements of reality into the script.
Yeah, I mean, what's wonderful is when you have an incredible working relationship and get to collaboratively write something, it's like you are also doing the like acting pre-production for it. And also we're friends. And so, how some actors like, they got to do a lot of chemistry reads. It's like, we're like, the chemistry read is good. We like each other. Like, we can do the fun. But I think, that we both were very vulnerable with and like very honest about how the manifestations of grief and friendship and heartbreak all were played in. I'll let Whitney speak more to that after, if you want to, obviously. But I think what I really loved is to tap in the scenes to these vulnerable places, was like the respect on set, and just kind of how enthusiastic and respectful and warm the environment was. Like, it was small, and our whole cast and crew was very rock and roll, like ready to do it. And it created this like ecosystem where you can like be on the floor sobbing, eating pasta. And it also like gave, the moments of silence, and let us, even though we shot in a very short amount of time, like let us dig into the emotions. And I remember doing an ending scene with my boyfriend in the movie, Jake, and Whitney was directing, and just kind of the tenderness as the director that she was giving me to let me like get to the space that was, it's hard and related to real life, and speaking to this like very human, vulnerable emotions.
I feel that. Whitney.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, just to, I guess, I think Nora answered that perfectly. I think though Yeah, as far as like the script, there was, I think it's been a theme for Nora and I's work that a lot of the time we find, because we both come from this acting background, we find characters that we're excited to play and then kind of build a story around them. And so, as Nora mentioned, we were inspired by these wigs and these two characters. And in the sketch version, they were, what were they, like Icelandic or something?
They're Icelandic.
The Icelandic pop singers, and so then it was like, okay, how do we bring that back and make it more real? And just I think at the time that we wrote it, it was such a time of, for me, it was reflecting on, it had been a few years since my dad had passed, and there are a lot of similarities in that moment. But I think that in general, grief is very universal, and I honestly felt like I had a leg up during the pandemic because it was an emotion that I had spent so much time processing, and so much I had really looked at death and loss in ways that I don't think most young people had until the pandemic, and is historically not something that young people have to think about and deal with in the way that our generation has. But I think being able to just, yeah, for me, it was very healing, very cathartic to write about, there's a moment that Nora was talking about, this moment of Nora's heartbreak. And it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. And she has this meltdown, we'll say, on the kitchen floor over pasta. Right. And it's, I was thinking about that, that moment specifically for me was when my dad passed away. I remember I had he left me a pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. And I remember thinking, I was like, this is the only physical reminder I have left of my dad, which is a kind of dramatic thing to say, not entirely true, but it felt very true at the time. And I come home literally the next day, my dog had eaten them. And it was just like this. And I was just hysterically crying on the kitchen floor, just because it felt like I had just given this one thing such significance to me and such importance to my continued relationship with someone who I had lost. And I think, that moment is what this moment is in the movie with Nora. And it, just, I think was very healing to be able to see, a character experience that. Because when it's happening, there's a party that's like, I'm being crazy and over dramatic. But when you see, for me to be able to create that and see no, this is a person who's deeply, deeply hurting, was very healing for me.
Amazing. Well, I'm happy that you guys did that. The film production was therapeutic to kind of get those feelings out there and share, and I think this is why we watch films like this. I know personally for myself, and like I was telling you earlier, I just had the conversation with friends about changing in life. And to me, this is a perfect film for that, to help us with those emotions. So thank you for this. To the production. So we kind of, highlighted the screenplay and how it kind of came together. Tell me about the production. What was that like? Yeah, Nora, you said you filmed, I think, in your parents' house or whatever. Were there particular moments? I know for myself, when I have, when I'm in pre-production, I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to this day or this particular scene. Will I be able to pull it off? Ugh, I don't know. Was there any moments like that? And if we could just talk about that and maybe some of the casting as well, that to highlight some of the beautiful actors and crew that were involved.
Oh, yeah, everyone was so good. But I'll speak to just in the house. So you'll see a barn in this film, and this barn is where it was the location of many short films, a lot of horror short films that I shot as a child using lots of ketchup. My mom was always really happy when I used all the ketchup. It smelled awesome. But I was really excited because we got to, at the very beginning of shooting, really work, Whitney and I, in the barn, figuring out exactly the Cosmo sisters, sound and look and how they collaborated together, and getting to shoot this montage of them trying to figure out the song was so fun. And also just, I feel off the bat created a language between us for directing as well as acting, and for the crew of just okay, this is the really setting the tone, and the balance between laughter and seriousness, which is always my favorite thing in a movie, where you're oh my god, I'm laughing now, but maybe I was crying a minute before. And yeah, Whitney, jump in, or I'll just the cast, because it was COVID, it was we need cast and crew that are rock and roll and can keep up, want to keep up, and because we're hitting the ground running every single day. And so we got to work with a lot of people that we'd worked with previously and like friends and collaborators, which was such a wonderful time and was like secretly me finally getting everyone to come sleep over at my house, kind of, which was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with that, like, you know, this was shot December 2020, so it was right before we even had vaccines. And, you know, we're trying to figure out all of the making sure that it was safe, you know, with the SAG compliance and just all of these different, you know, and obviously safety is the number one priority. But it was every day, it was like, are we going to get shut down? We don't know, right? And the unions hadn't even made, they were constantly changing and trying to make sure that things were safe for everyone. And we had, you know, we did talk to a lot of different crew people that looked at it and were like, this is crazy. And like, no, we're not, I'm not doing that. And we also, I mean, we shot it in 8 days. And so we came up with this phrase that was kind of like our litmus test for cast and crew is like, are they rock and roll? And it was like, can they hang with this? Because it really it's a startup, right? And everyone's wearing a lot of hats, and but I think after it, especially, like, we got, you know, the best of the best people that we could have possibly asked for, because everyone kind of had a break because of COVID, and people had such a long year of not being able to make things that they love. And so we really were able to just tap into like our, you know, some of our favorite collaborators and trick them into making this movie with us.
I love that. And can definitely relate to that. You gotta love filmmaking to be in this business and to get the rejections, all the no's. Been there, done that, feel that, and still love it. So definitely I think rock and roll is a key word to look for with cast crew, to just get that longevity and go through this process. So with that being said, making this film, you know, we talked a little bit how it came together, production. What are some of the lessons learned? So you made this amazing film together. You know, it's now rocking out to everybody right now. Let me promote that. Available right now, y'all, on digital, video on demand, digital, everywhere. iTunes store, as you see on there it is. Get it everywhere. Check it out once you're done watching this amazing interview with Whitney and Nora. What are some of the lessons you learned, and like, you know, maybe going forward, can we see Cosmo Sisters 2? You know, all of that. What was this experience like? Let me throw it back to you, Nora.
Cousin Sisters 1.5, you know, Lion King did that. You know, it's like we go all the way around,
all the way back. Get some young stars to play yourselves.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is like our first big pancake, if you will, a first feature film. And so like, it was so much learning. Next time, let's not do it in a pandemic, Whitney. I don't know, just an idea. I also think it's like, I am so impressed with ourselves that we got all the shots. Like, it is a movie. And as we said, we like shot it in 8 days, but I'm like just excited for the next one. And I'm like, let's have more time. Like, let's give more space to play and explore. Like, we were shooting on such a fast turnaround that I think that it just made me fall like even more in love with the filmmaking process, and just more excited to try things. Like, next time we'll have a drone probably, and we'll actually like get intergalactic. Yeah, but I think that things that I know that I will stick with is like getting a cast and crew who really understand the world of the movie, and always working with collaborators like Whitney, who like has a skill set that I think really we complement each other, and we just have a lot of respect and love, because that's what you need on the set.
Agreed. How about you, Whitney? What are some of the biggest lessons for you, as you know, having to wear so many hats that the both of y'all did? What was that like for you going forward?
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but I've never done cocaine, but I assume that like that's the caveat. But I assume that like being able to wear all of those hats is similar to what doing cocaine feels like. Like, it just feels like it lights up every part of my brain. At the same time, being able to go behind the camera, in front of it, make adjustments to the script while we're on the fly. Like, it just, I love acting, but the part that I don't love is sitting in my trailer waiting around. And I love, you know, that whole being able to really like tackle the whole beast. And I think that this this, like, you know, again, like, just to, I know it's cheesy, but I feel like we made a movie against all odds when everyone was telling us we couldn't do it and shouldn't do it and didn't need to. You know, no one would have faulted us if we had just said, we're gonna like put that one off a couple of years, or, you know, whatever. But I think for me, it just was such a confidence, a lesson, like, just showing, like, you know, what we're made of and what we're capable of doing. And I think being able to, as Nora said, like, get every single shot in 8 days, I'm just like, oh yeah, we can, like, I can do anything. So, you know, that was, I think, the kind of main takeaway is just to believe in myself more.
I love that. Definitely, we should all believe in ourselves. That's amazing. Great,
absolutely.
Great way to gonna get to the closing. That actually, I'm sorry, reminded myself of a question, because the reason I also asked this, because again, I'm a filmmaker. A lot of the people that watch and support what I do are filmmakers as well. So I love to get that feedback and give words of encouragement to those fellow filmmakers that are watching this. Stick to your guns. You can do it. Just pull through it. It'll happen, and we can get that out there. But what reminded myself the question that you said you guys got everything in those 8 days. So generally, sometimes, you know, when we do a screenplay and we get to post, the final version of the film isn't exactly what we initially thought. So was everything, did you get, like, was it a different film in the beginning editing, or no?
We did end up going back, and there was a moment of kind of like a connective tissue montage moment that we didn't get, but it was, the reason I say we got all the shots is because that wasn't in the script. And it wasn't until we were in the editing bay that we're like, this moment doesn't quite land. So we did end up going back for a day and getting a couple pickups.
Yeah, I like to bring that up because, again, we think that we lose it sometimes, right? As filmmakers, like, shit, I didn't get, excuse my language, you know, like, it wasn't all the way there, but it's okay to go back and revisit, and make those tweaks. I'm sorry, Nora.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think I loved the post-production process, because, like, working with the editor and the sound mixer and the colorist, I loved people bringing an enthusiasm and an understanding of the world. And I think that is also, like, such a tasty part of filmmaking that we kind of, it's not like the first thing that I think about. But I would kind of say that the movie came out like we imagined. Like, I mean, obviously, like, it grew and changed and ebbed and flowed, but what's kind of amazing is I think that when we were writing it in COVID, it does look like how, like, that first little brain explosion, which is something really exciting to know that the Cosmo Sisters, like, lived then, and, like, now everyone gets to see what was 2 years ago just in our minds.
Well, congratulations. I love it. Again, I had so much fun watching this, and you guys definitely have a chemistry. Like, that's why I was like, can we see a Cosmo Sisters 2 or 1.5, or, you know, the 0.5? Yeah, because I think you guys have something there as now a fan of watching the material. Congratulations. Did you guys do I know it's, again, available right now, everybody, digital on demand, go do the things. We're right about done. So the film is wrapped. We're done. We're in post. It's now available to everybody right now, y'all. Did y'all have a wrap party? What was the reception like for the people in the crew and cast to see this? And I'm sure they have so much ties to you both because just of how this came together. What was that like? And what has been the vibes?
The vibes have been good. Strong vibes. No, we were able to do like a cast and crew screening, and it was so nice to see everybody after, you know, it's like you shoot it in 8 days, and then, like, a year and a half later you can get everybody together, and it just very much felt like a little homecoming. And it was so exciting to see the actors who aren't us get to see their performances kind of for the first time, because they're so good. I would just like to say the actors that we got are so good. My friend was just talking about, she was like, I love the movie. Ari, the neighbor, insane. I was like, yeah, her performance is amazing. But it was really just, like, lovely for people to get to finally see the full thing together.
Whitney, how about you? What was that like in your experience with seeing it all together and with family and friends?
Yeah, no, I think, this is kind of making the movie in the pandemic and not being able to do as much of the, like festival stuff and whatever. And so, yeah, we really have only gotten to hear people's reactions in that space is with the cast and crew. And so just to hear, when these people who helped make it get to come and bring their significant others and watching them and being able to my husband did help produce, but he wasn't on set with us. And so being able to show him this world that we've created, I think is just, and for everyone's, the family and friends and all that is just, it was a delight. It's so cool.
Excellent. Well, I hope you get the gift of love this holiday season with it now being available for everybody to see. The Cosmo Sisters. Are there, before we sign off again, everybody go support this film, available right now. How can my fans become your fans and follow you guys and check you out? I want to kind of throw it back to you guys again one more time so people can follow you on all the socials, all the things, see and support the next film. Fingers crossed, because again, I'm a fan of you both now, and we're going to want to see more from you guys. You give us good quality like this, we're going to demand it. We're going to do that. Nora, I'm going to throw it to you.
They're hungry. The people. Thank you so much for your kind words. It really means a lot. You can follow me at NOKAYE on Instagram. And yeah, all new things will be coming out that way.
All right.
Yeah, I would say mostly spend my time on Instagram as well, at Whitney Uland. And I guess for if you said you've got artists that are starting out, I also have a podcast that's for artists and creatives, mindset related. So it's the Abundant Artist Podcast, and those are kind of the two places that I share the most.
Let's go. Well, I'm going to follow, subscribe. I'm going to do all the things. And for everybody watching, I will have the links in the description below. So if you're driving right now, listening to this, when you get to a safe place, you'll see it in the description. Go follow, go subscribe, show love to Nora Kaye and Whitney Uland. This is so much a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for finding some time out of your holiday time to spend it with me. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
No worries. Everybody, the Cosmo Sisters, available right now. Nora Kaye, Whitney Uland. Go check it out. It's your boy, Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. There we go. There's the cut. Thank you, guys.